Hey everyone, welcome back to another NAT and oil tanker update of the week. So, we actually have some news of when NAT is going to post their third quarter results, which will be on November 16th. So, Herjborg Hansen, the founder and CEO of NAT, said, "Dear shareholders and investors, we received many comments and questions regarding the market for our Suezmaxes. 25 Suezmaxes, which includes the two new buildings for 2022 delivery." And he's saying NAT is in a positive phase of development. There has been a certain lull in the market recently. Of course, we're going to see that in the spot rates for this week, um, which we regard as a short-term phenomenon. A company can go three ways: sideways, downwards, or upwards. NAT is solidly on its way upwards. Our results are out Monday, November the 16th, which is most likely also when they're going to announce their dividend for the quarter. Okay, so good weekend. Best regards, CEO. All right, so what do I think of this? Well, I mean, it seems that of course, he's admitting that the tanker market right now is weak, which will, of course, affect Q4 performance. However, he's saying that right now that they are in a positive phase of development. We're buying two new buildings, so we do expect to see growth in the future down the line. And what I'm thinking for their Q3 results, they actually may be posting some decent numbers just because they do contract out some of their ships for time charter equivalents, and it may be actually a decent number. So, for example, International Seaways, they just post their Q3 results and they were actually promising. They beat analyst expectations. So with a net income of 14 million, and this is a company that has a 407 million market cap, right? And so on this rally, the company actually increased by 15%. Pretty much on the news, and then there was a decent sell-off, but still it was up on the week. It was up by 5%, which is pretty much unheard of right now in the oil tanker market, at least, right? So going on to their investor relations page, and then actually onto their third quarter highlights, we see again 2020 Q3 net income of 14 million, which is 50 cents per share. And et cetera, et cetera. So, of course, they do admit that the market is going to be lower in Q4. And so what they said is our sizable fleet of crude and product tankers performed well during the quarter, and the four favorable time charters we executed earlier this year at very strong rates were instrumental in enabling us to optimize our revenue during the current period of oil inventory destocking, right? So of course they're saying that while weak tanker markets are here to stay through to the end of the year as structural oversupply continues on both the oil and tanker markets amid significant destocking according to market sources, right? So sometimes NAT and other oil tanker companies contract out their ships for 3 to 6 to a year a month voyages at a certain rate per day, which is generally much higher than what the spot rate is right now. And so they're saying that they definitely benefited from having these longer term contracts for their Q3 results, and actually seeing a net income of $14 million, right? And of course, what they're talking about in terms of oversupply of tanker ships is reflected in the spot rate. So we can see Thursday, November 5th, spot rate was $1,400 for Suezmax, which is pretty damn low considering that it costs around $8,000 for a Suezmax to actually be functional. That's how much it costs to operate the ship per day. And we can see on Friday, the Suezmax rates were not looking any better at 1,300 on the day. And VLCC carriers, which carry double the amount of a Suezmax tanker, their spot earnings were looking at 6,800. So again, pretty damn weak compared to the 2020 average rate of 56,700 for VLCC carriers and close to 30,000 for Suezmax carriers. Okay, and so I do think that, of course, Q4 is going to be absolutely brutal for NAT. All right. However, when we're looking at Q3 results that are supposed to come out, that will come out on November 16th, they actually might not be bad. It might actually cause a decent spike up in the stock price. Okay, if we're looking weekly, NAT was pretty much flat, down by 1% over the week. Again, not surprising. Had a couple of little upbursts, but again, of course, I'm holding all my NAT shares. And right now, of course, we're looking at a company with a P ratio of under 5. And when we're looking at some more technicals, let me just minimize this. We can actually see that this company is nearing oversold territory with an RSI of 33, and definitely anything under a 30 is considered oversold, right? Which would definitely be good news, because that means that if it's oversold, then more people will come in to buy NAT shares. And looking at the MACD, it's still in negative territory, negative 0.19, which means that this is a bearish trend, which may continue to go, or it might reverse. Again, anything could change. For example, technicals might get thrown out the window with strong Q3 results. All right, so it looks like that this price will stay depressed for some time. I'm just going to pull this back up. Prices may stay depressed for some time, but I do think that Q3 results might make a bit of a difference in terms of NAT stock price, which might shoot it up by a bit. But again, we'll have to see by how much. I don't expect it to go back to like $5 after they post decent Q3 results. But again, we'll have to see. So overall, based off of this upcoming press release, we also have to keep in mind that NAT is not the best when we're talking about investor relations. They did some sort of shady financial practices where they always announced when they were buying shares, when the CEO and the CEO's son and whoever else on their advisory board was buying shares, but not when they were selling shares. Okay, so stuff like this is definitely concerning. And I mean, it seems like here that this is positive news that Hertzborg, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, is putting out. But we always have to be careful that, of course, they're doing it for the benefit of the investor, and they have been associated with sort of shady practices in the past, right? So again, I'll be doing definitely an in-depth analysis of their Q3 results once it comes out on November 16th. And of course, they're going to be paying a dividend, and they'll probably announce that dividend on that date. So again, I'll let you know what I think of the current dividend. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this NAT update. And if you did, again, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like for more content. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day, guys.